Hello, my friends. How y'all doing today? Oh man, it's a beautiful day out, sun's shining. A little drizzle this morning, and it's hot too. Went on a walk, and my hair is sweaty. I got a shower after I do this video here. It's pretty musty out, but nice though, real nice. And it's still when you're not walking, it feels really good, really good. Yeah, again over here in North Texas. But yeah, man, I was just watching this video, something Tucker, the news reporter, and how she's showing proof about how the whole thing with Trump working with the Russians and the government working with the Russians to rig the election and all this stuff, proof that they never had no intelligence on this, and there was never no evidence that that ever happened. Like, and says he's like, no wonder that Americans don't trust their government. Whenever they could have stopped the derailing of this trust, they didn't. And it wasn't, it was I guess the Democrats had like almost full control at this time for like the first 2 years, even in Trump's administration, of the House representatives, something like that. You'd have to watch the video. But but so let's see, they didn't stop it, because they wanted the agenda, like either they were cowardly to come out and talk about it, that they really didn't have any proof of this, or that they, their agenda. And if Trump was not in there right now, okay, like what's Trump trying to do? He is trying to get the country flowing again. He doesn't want this economy to crash. He wants to keep us afloat. Okay, this pandemic, it is what it is, right? But they inflate the numbers. I feel like it's just a little bit worse than just a crazy flu. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, it's just, I don't, the whole fear behind it is just propagated, I feel like, behind the news. And so, like, I agree with his approach on this, and it's just crazy, man. And he doesn't want to see us go down. He doesn't want to see this country, sink, and that's what's up, like. But that's just my opinion there, I really ain't that much of a political person, but we're in very important times, and it is, good to be aware of this stuff, and to and when the news reporter puts out facts, he's like, hey, he understands, it's very hard to trust this time, so I'm not going to ask you to. I'm just going to show you the proof. Like, that's what's up. That's what I like to see. That was just really cool. Really cool. I shared it on my Facebook. Okay. But so I got a really pretty cool message today. So let me pray and then we'll get off into it. Okay. Dearly Father, so thank you, Lord. Thank you so much just for life. The beautiful gift of life. And just for loving us, for being here with us through this time, for guiding our steps, for us not being alone, that you are always with us. I just pray right now, Lord, anyone that's struggling, going through a hard time, Lord, that you just show up and show out for them, Lord. In Jesus Christ's holy name, in the name I pray. Amen. Okay. So about a month and a half back, 2 months back, I did one, which led to my awakening. I've been awake now, for a couple of years, but not all the way. I was still in my addiction and stuff. I was very self-centered, so I wasn't all the way awake, but I was awake to certain things, going on. Still, I never, no matter what was going on in my life, I always kept my relationship with God, I always stayed faithful in my relationship, but that was the extent of it, it wasn't benefiting anybody, it was barely benefiting me, it still kept my quality of life somewhat good, but then I'm doing drugs that take away my emotions, and it's not even me living, it's the drugs living, it's not me. There's no growth there, there's no real, it's just, but it's taught me some valuable lessons, and so, and it was a big part that had to do with my waking up all the way, and so now, so I'll just start from the beginning. Okay, so what led to me waking up and being able to, I feel like, okay, this is the whole point of what God wants me to share. This is the message He has for me to share. This is what He wanted me to include in this waking up, and this is the whole, what I was thinking about this morning before I got back home. It just gave me chills thinking about talking about this. Is like this confirmation that like this is this is like the stern or the head of my message right here, that God, you know, told me that He wanted me to share with y'all a few months back. So started out that I was wanting to get clean, but I was wanting to do it for the wrong reasons. You know, I was struggling to get there, and I was still using, you know, but the getting clean was on the verge. It was you know, and doing it for myself was on the verge. All that it took was a church service that really shifted my focus and got me on track in the right way. But before all this though, I was seeing the number 111, like 1111 and 111 everywhere, paperwork, the time, just seeing it all over the place. And I was never a person ever in my life to have numbers stick out to me, ever. They never did that. Even if I would notice one, it never meant nothing. I didn't think twice about it. Very rarely did I ever did that ever happen to me anyways. And there's a book by my pastor at the time that really got me back on track. Pastor Troy Brewer in Burleson, he has a book about numbers that preach. It's a really awesome book. I recommend it. But yeah, it's a really awesome book, but I never had any experience with it, you know. Even after reading the book, it just never didn't happen for me, never clicked like that. So, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm on the verge of getting clean, you know, and just barely, you know, this number starts sticking out to me. So I go to this church service, right? And like, so I've known that I've held on to this form of control in my life, that, you know, this illusion of control that we think that we have, you know, especially with this virus thing, like thinking that we can do anything to stop us from getting this virus. If you're meant to get this virus, you're gonna get it. There's nothing, not heaven or earth or hell or whatever. This is hell. I feel like, you know, like we're in hell right now, you know, and there's no hell after this. There's separation from God and there's heaven, you know, but that's not the point. That's why I'm talking about right now. But so at the time, I was on methadone. Okay, I'd gotten clean, but not all the way clean. Like I was on methadone, and I knew that I should be dependent all the way on God, Jesus, you know. But Jesus is not God to everybody, you know. And Jesus really, He is my Messiah. He is my teacher. He is the way that brings me. He is the bridge that brings me, connects me to God. But and I feel Jesus be very disappointed, you know, how, you know, humans have made Jesus God whenever that's false God. Jesus is not God, okay? There's Father God, Mother God, and there's the Holy Spirit, and then there's Jesus, the Messiah, the way. He's the bridge. He's what got us to put our eyes on God, okay? That's what it means to be Messiah. And this whole including Him in the Trinity and stuff, you know, like, hey, I'm not gonna say not to do that, but that's just not accurate when you come down to the truth of the Trinity and the Godhead and all that. But He was our Savior. He was our Messiah, for sure. Totally believe that. In no way do I feel like that takes power from Him. But so, relying on these things, and then at the time, the way I viewed me being a disability at the time, I just viewed it as I should, you know, take care of myself. Don't depend on the government. Don't matter what things I got going on, you know, like lots of people do, yet they still get up day to day and they tough it out and do it, you know. Like, what's stopping me from that, you know? Even though I qualify, you know, for SSI, you know, I wanted better than that. I wanted more than that. And so in this church service, it spoke to my heart, to my soul, and it moved me. It shifted me right then. And like to put all my dependence on Him, to let go of every avenue of control, of safety, security safety that I thought that I needed, because, you know, in case God don't look out for me, well, at least I got these things to look out for me, right? I'm not going to get sick and worry about going back to drugs. I got the methadone, and I don't got to worry about me being able to survive because I got my SSI, right? So realized, and this is something that's been on my heart for 2 years prior to this happening, but I let it go and just keep doing what I wanted to do, you know, to be good in the moment. you know, just being ignorant to what was really going on. Um, and so, you know, and finally getting to a place to where I put all my trust in God, you know, let go of all these avenues of control, of these safety security nets, and I literally the next day I did not do methadone. Me and Jess both, we got off the methadone, and I didn't even get sick. Like I was up to 90 milligrams, okay, and the 90s, like that's when, like, if you stop cold turkey on that, like you're gonna get sick, like it ain't gonna be pretty, okay. And like it's just a miracle, like I did not get sick at all, like for 3 days. Like sometimes I, you know, we go on our walks like we always do, you know, I'd get the sweats and cold chills, but no physical pain, no discomfort, unless you want to consider the sweating discomfort, but I didn't, you know. Like I'll take that any day over the being sick part. And I've had to go cold turkey one time whenever I was doing the methadone and still using, and went 4 days without it. I was like, I was driving to my, I was driving to go get something to get well, and like the whole way there, like I could barely keep myself up all the way or upright in the vehicle. Like it was bad. It was so bad. Okay, but I put all my trust in God. I knew that He had me. I knew that I could trust in Him and rely on Him. And this shift inside of me was so real. It was at such a gut level that you know, it allowed for that miracle to take place, and it was just beautiful, right? And so after about 2 weeks, it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks of not relying on something else for my security, and just relying on God, you know. And I even had the intention, you know, I was supposed to renew my disability. Well, I didn't do that. It ended up getting renewed afterwards. It ended up, and I realized it was right now with me being for probation, doing my IOP, intensive outpatient, and just not being able to dedicate my time to a job because it's probation stuff that, you know, a job's not going to put up with, you know, me having to go to this class and be late and all this stuff, you know. It just is too hard to give a job the full respect and devotion that they deserve right now. So as soon as the IOP class is over in September, then yeah, I'm most definitely going to get right back on that. But so, you know, God had it. He blessed me with that. I was getting 500, and once I realized this, He bumped me up to getting $700 something. You know, like that was Him looking out for me. You know, by putting me on that in this situation. Now, if I was in the situation and didn't need it, then no, by all means, like I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna earn my living. You know, but so but it doesn't matter. If my mindset was, oh, I can do work, you know, and at this time I wasn't in my LP class, it hadn't started yet. So, you know, I fully intended to get back to work, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks after that, my LP class started. So, and that's when God was like, hey, no, this is to look out for you during this time, so, you know, you just can be okay, and y'all can get out on y'all's own. And it's really, really beautiful. God is awesome, right? But still, just relying on this methadone at that time was just and I realized what it was doing. It was blocking me spiritually from really fully being able to connect with Him. Okay, because after these 2 weeks, okay, and me and Jess, we were abstinent, you know, we were celibate, you know, we weren't, you know, we were doing these devotions, and you know, we had this concept of sin. I had this concept of sin, you know, before and this is where the whole 111's gonna tie in, okay, but so, but not just yet, but I'll get there. Okay, so we were at, so yeah, so we weren't even sleeping together and all this stuff, you know. And well, so after 2 weeks of, you know, of being clean, and like I could just it was just crazy, like just all like the ways that I just felt so much more whole, and just my anxiety was all the way gone. Like it was really amazing. My connection to God was just so profound, and like I could feel the universe bending back on me, just blessing me in awesome ways, and just the things that were happening and going on just all seemed to be working out beautifully. And well, so we ended up having sex this one night. Okay, and it was a crazy situation. I'm not going into all the details of everything that happened, but so that night, okay, so I ended up learning through some material that I found out was probably from a bad source, but it still had information that explained some of what happened. Okay, so, you know, and that's this world has been deceived us about what sex is actually going to be a very, very good thing. You know, it's a transfer of energy. You know, and whenever you having it with unconditional love for the person you're with, you know, and it's not just a dominating thing, or when it's not, and when it's looked at it more than that, you know, it's a very godly act. It's a very spiritual act, and this transfer of energy that took place opened my crown chakra. Like, I noticed what happened. Opened my crown chakra because that night I had a vision. Okay, and I know this is from the evil, the dark side. Okay, they contacted me first because they wanted to stop me, you know, my effectiveness to being able to be a channel for God. Okay, and so I got a vision saying I could walk in the power of Set. Okay, and if you keep up with Michael Prince and his stuff, okay, he says that that's what they want to do. They want to bring the age of Set, okay. And I had this vision way before I ever came across any of this material at all. Okay, I had a vision, and it was just this dark room, and with like this spotlight, you know, like a blue spotlight, and I was in it, and I was, you know, being told that I could walk in the power of Set. I don't know what I said or what happened. I just remember the offer, and obviously I declined it, because then after that, I started receiving a prophecy, a doomsday prophecy, right? You know, which is, if you're getting any kind of if you're getting any kind of doomsday, like, oh, you know, like, yes, we are at the end, but if it's from good, if it's from God, or from love and light, or positive beings, okay, then it's not going to be doom. It's going to be waking people up, helping people to get what they need to get. But if you're getting like, oh, it's, you know, it's the end, and we got this prophecy, and it's doom and destruction, and, you know, and all this, then it's probably from the dark entities. Okay, from my understanding. The point of this time is wake people up, not put them in fear. Okay, and I was first receiving the fear aspect of it, and if I would have, and then I went to church the next Wednesday, like 2 weeks after, it was a Wednesday, we went, and but them talking about prophecy, and like, so the next morning after I started receiving this telepathic communication, this prophecy, okay, and that's the night that I asked, you know, who am I to God, and I was, you know, what's my name from God? He's like, because I know we all have our own special name from God, that's our heavenly name, and I asked, well, what is mine? Once I realized I had this connection, you know, and I was told my name's a knockin', not a knock, but a knockin'. And I don't know if that has any relation to the other one. I don't think it does. Maybe it was ascended or something, or something like that. But that was pretty cool. You know, that's what's up. I was very grateful to know that. It just helps me walk into my power more. You know. But back a little bit. So, but what first initiated is, like, me and Jeff were having a conversation. We're talking about how this world's being deceived and manipulated, and how we're actually very spiritual beings, and like we're so much more than what we've been being lied to, and like, and it's activated me. Like, I was just straight up activated. Like, it was awesome. Like, and I don't know, I was being told, like, she was struggling with this, you know, and she, you know, wanted so bad for someone to be able to understand and just be able to relate with her, and she didn't feel like I could, you know, even though I was. I mean, I may have not been through it the way she has, but it didn't matter. I still understood and could relate to what she was saying, but she just wasn't feeling it, you know, and whatever, and was telling me in my heart, you know, tell her she needs to look within. She needs to stop needing validation outside of herself. She only needs it from within herself, you know, and I was hearing this clear as day, and then so that's how I knew I could ask. Okay, if I'm hearing this, you know, I can ask anything I would like to ask, and I did, and that's when you know, her name was a knocking, and I know this was from God. This was before I started receiving anything that I wasn't asking for. Okay, and so, but that morning though, okay, a woodpecker, okay, I live in Watauga, Texas. There was a woodpecker in my freaking tree. Okay, you don't get woodpeckers in here. Like, what the heck was that? I looked up what the woodpecker means. It means, there's going to be a prophecy, and it means to be careful, to tread lightly, you know, guard your path. Okay, whoa, like, I'm freaking receiving prophecy, and so I should probably be careful, you know, and I should have been careful, because that prophecy I was getting was not correct, and it was manipulated. Okay, it's not that it wasn't correct, it was manipulated, right? Okay, and so that was just, it was, and I had this, you know, divine connection, you know, and I was all of a sudden able to quote scripture and stuff like that I've never been able to do. Like, it was crazy. Like my chakra and everything was just completely open by this act, realizing that it's not a sinful thing when you do it out of love, when you do it out of unconditional love, when you love the person you're with, and it's not just with no emotion involved, when it's just a physical thing, then that's the operating in the low levels, but high vibrational levels when it's out of love, there is, like I said, like I ended up, so, okay, hang on, okay, so, but yeah, so all this stuff happened, and it was just crazy, 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 and the things I was saying, it just was blowing her away, like she knew something was going on, she just knew it was just all in my head, and I'm not a person to make stuff up at all, like, I'm not a liar, I'm not, I like fantasy movies and stuff, but I'm not so imaginative to sit here and be able to make this stuff up and just pull it out of my butt. I've never been the type of person to do that. Anyone that knows me personally can vouch for that. I've never been the kind of person. I'm not gonna all of a sudden start now. It's just not who I am. I don't get nothing from that. There's nothing for me, especially, me being a person full of love and wanting the best for myself and the people around me. I don't do that by lying to them, so now there's something that happened a few days after that, but before I get into that though, okay, so this thing happened, right? The situation happened, which I'm going to talk about that at the end of this thing, but the situation happened, okay, and then I really started seeing 111 everywhere, because I got when this happened, I was like, man, like there was no answer in the Bible that I had to go to, okay, like what was that? Like that's crazy, like oh my Lord, I'm freaking blown away, like oh my gosh, like this is nuts, insane. But really though, it wasn't the Bible. Just this how it happened. I was just so confused, and I was glad. I'm glad that I needed to look outside the Bible. It brought me to some material that I know, because once I read The Mystical Life of Jesus, whenever I got done reading that book, okay, I got done reading it at exactly 11:11. Like I got done reading it, looked at the clock, it said 11:11, like boom, and it wasn't the only book that was part of this. And 11:11 means that your spirituality is going to be enhanced. It's going to be, you're going to come across some information that's going to enrich your life. Okay, it's going to enrich your life, and it's going to be a blessing. You're about to be walking into blessings. Your spirituality is going to grow. It's just, look it up. It's awesome. And the other material to come across was from the Journey in the Soul series from Sylvia Brown. Okay, and what it is, she believes Jesus. She believes he's Messiah. This is where I learned this information. Okay, like I could have been, transmuted or telepathic, this stuff, but someone wrote about it, she was already channeled to her. It didn't need to be channeled again to me. I needed to seek it out. I needed to seek out my truth, and it's in that material, okay. And what it does is think about it, an all loving, all benevolent God, okay, an all loving God, okay. But then and God, right? But then how are we going to put human emotions like anger and jealousy and judgment and wrath and all these human petty emotions, right? That doesn't make sense. I never thought about that. Okay, like, well, wait a minute. God is so much bigger than all that stuff. He's all love, all compassion to the fullest, way much more than we can ever be. So then he doesn't have favorites. He doesn't sit here and, oh, well, I'm going to let this person make it because they believe this way. But this person believes in basically me, but they're in a different part of the world. They have a different religion, calling on their concept of God. But I'm not going to, let them make it because, they weren't shown this way. They weren't, or these Aborigines or not hill people, but people in the forest and stuff that aren't culturized, like really, like they never heard about Jesus. They don't get to make it to heaven, like because they don't know Jesus. Like that's not an all loving, all benevolent, all compassionate God. It's not. That's the opposite. That to me is like a Satan, and that right there, Satan's a man-made thing. Okay, you give power to this man-made thing by believing it. They say, oh, well, the devil wants you to think he's there, because he's really actually not there. Okay, there is evil. There are dark beings. Yes, by all means there are, but they're not demons. They're just dark spirits. Okay, they're spirits that are separated from the existence of God. Okay, yes, there is, and they are bent on our destruction. Okay, but to call them demons and to call it Satan is giving it power. Okay, so how do you take the power away from it? By calling it what it is, and not what. And when you call it the Satan and demons, that incites the fear. That incites. It gives it more power than what it actually is. Okay, when it's just a dark entity, that like that's just the truth of what it is, and it's the light shown on it, and it's not all that scary no more. Like God gives us the power to over all that stuff. He gives us the power over Satan too. But people fear Satan. People fear this thing. Because of all the hype around it. Now, and so all this dogma, all this, like in the Bible, okay, Jesus' own teachings. I talked a little about this yesterday. His own teachings, okay, he says not to judge and not to condemn, okay, and that's in Mark, I believe, okay. Now that's the whole premise. That's the whole Christian premise. It is, where are you spending your eternity? Are you spending it in hell, or are you spending it with Jesus? Right there. So, oh well, if you don't love Jesus, well then you're going to hell. You're going to be in eternal damnation. That's control. That incites fear. Okay, that they act like they got something that you need. And then they ask for your money too. And it's going for good things. That's their form of control. Okay, that's completely opposite of what Jesus came to preach, and it's right there in the freaking Bible. That's why I really love non-denominational. But even still, that a straight regular Christian is going to tell you, if you don't believe. Now, you will be separate from God if you do not believe in God. If you do not believe in something higher, if you just believe that we're it and this is it, or you believe in your own power and that you don't need no God. Okay, well, guess where you get to be? You get to be separate from God, and you get to have your regular, existence apart from Him. That's your choice, okay? So no one's going to go where they don't want to go. God is not evil at all. God is not judgmental. He is not. He does not pick favorites. We all have the same access to Him, and it's really, really beautiful. We judge ourselves, okay? We judge ourselves once we pass on from this life and go to the next. We will grade ourselves on this life and how we did. Did we do the most for the people in our lives? Were we always there for them? When they called on us, were we there? Or we're like, no, we're going to put ourselves first? Like, that's how we're going to be grading ourselves, okay? We're going to judge ourselves. However we put someone down, whenever we were mean to somebody, whenever we were hateful to somebody, we're going to feel that same mean hatred. Where it's like we did it to ourselves, and it's going to break our hearts. Like, we judge ourselves, and some people, they need to be cocooned after life because they had such a messed up life. Like, they're going to go to heaven, they believed in God and all that stuff, but they were still very, very self-centered, and just this world screwed them up. This world won in the sense of, making once they got there, making it hard for them. So they got to be cocooned, which is like a healing process, and then they get to go, do their next density work, right? But it's a very lovable thing, loving thing. And like, think about when you go to sleep here, you wake up, it's like no time went by. You get cocooned, it's like going to sleep, you wake up, and it's really, really awesome, okay? It's such a beautiful design. There's nothing to fear at all. Nothing at all to fear in any of this, okay? Like, I just hope that each of y'all know this is true in y'all's heart. I hope that y'all feel the love and compassion from this message, that that God is not. And anyone that's like, oh, it doesn't agree, well, think about it. Do you operate in control? Do you operate in greed? Do you operate in manipulation? If you operate in those things, then you probably got a problem with this message. I got a loved one that's got a problem with my message, and they operate very, very much in control, manipulation, and greed. Maybe not with money or whatever, but they're very greedy in terms of it's all about them. You know what I'm saying? And why they think that, they say, oh, well, you can't incorporate this stuff in religion. You can't. Well, yeah, religion, Jesus was not about religion. He came and he was whipping the money changers at their damn temples. You know what I'm saying? And then this person also as well knows how much we've been lied to and manipulated by the people at power. So how he thinks that wasn't done to the Bible too is beyond me. But I know how this person is, and I love them very, very much. And all that tells me is just that the thing that's inside controlling him, the darkness in him, is what is making him hate on me and my message. And that's okay. I got much love for him, and I'm not upset with him at all. It just tells me that I'm doing right and I'm speaking right. If anyone's got a problem with this message that I'm telling you, that's all about love and compassion, and all loving God that's above all these human emotions. Then you really need to take a look at yourself. Because what I'm trying to tell you is how to get to where you need to be, so that way you can ascend and live and do your next density work, because it's about to happen. Okay. So I came across all this knowledge, right? But so now the situation that happened for me to come across this, right? Okay. So I talked about this a couple times, but this is just the whole thing. Okay, this is why, and I'm gonna keep talking. That's why I've talked about it several times now. A couple months ago, and then twice now here in the past week. But this will be my last time I'll talk about it. Okay. But this is just so important. Okay, so now I come across this. What actually happened. Okay, in the show. A cosmic secret. Okay, but this happened to me. It was in January. This happened to me. Okay, but now I understand. I know what happened to me though. I believe. Okay, I believe. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a flash, a solar flash, right? And that's how this is supposed to end. It's supposed to be in fire and brimstone, right? Well, so this solar flash, okay, the brimstone is chunks of the sun that come out in this flash coming down on Earth. Okay, and then in the flash it could cause 1,000-degree temperatures. Okay, now there's something going on right now where there's this cloud, this Christ consciousness cloud that's hitting us, that is causing all of us to look at ourselves, that's causing all of us to forgive people in our life that we need to forgive. Okay, that are causing us to just work out within us the things we need to work out to be able to make this ascension. Okay, and it's happened naturally, subconsciously, unconscious level, it's happening. Okay, so so prior to this happening, in my head there was somebody that just was caught up with, that she couldn't let go, and my heart had hate for this person. I did not like them at all. Okay, and I didn't think that they deserved anything at all, and that's hateful to me. Okay, so I was giving this person power over me, really, is what I was doing. Okay, and so when I realized, and this was like the last thing that was keeping me from if I wasn't gonna be able to sin, this is what would have done it. Okay, but in my head I worked out. I let it go. I let go of my hate. I let go of his power. He had no more power over me. I didn't hate him. I had love for him. We were all living this life. We're all here trying to experience. Okay, we're all here learning our lessons. And it's all that it is. And so I absolved that karmic debt. That would have kept me having to live another life and not being able to ascend. Okay, so when I get to the stoplight, okay, the light goes red. All of a sudden, I start speaking in tongues. I'm not exactly how it happened, but okay, I start speaking in tongues. I can't redo it because it was special to that moment, and it was from me, but it's from my higher self. Okay, and then all of a sudden, everything got